number of National Guard troops in the district is continuing to grow.
Yeah, 6 Republican-led states now loaning their own National Guardsmen to the federal government. In total, there will be 1,100 troops from Mississippi, Tennessee, Louisiana, West Virginia, Ohio, and South Carolina. Now, as of right now, those Guard members will not be armed and are only acting in support of MPD. They are not going to be making arrests, we're told. Yesterday, President Trump called out the media, saying the whole point of this initiative is to slow down crime.
The press says he's a dictator, he's trying to take over. No, all I want is security for our people.
On the other side of that argument is D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser. She is pushing back against the heavy deployment of National Guard troops and federal law enforcement officers. She says the numbers simply don't warrant the response.
This doesn't make sense. You know it doesn't make sense. The numbers on the ground in the district don't support 1,000 people from other states coming to Washington, D.C. You know it couldn't be done in a neighboring state. You know that.
So it's been a full week of the federal takeover of the D.C. Police Department. The police union is saying crime is going down. They say they have the numbers to prove that crime was down in just the past week.
Sunrise on the Hill's Max Marcilla joins us live with a look at those numbers. Morning, Max. And what do the numbers tell you?
Well, good morning, Hillary and Corey. The numbers do say what the D.C. Police Union says, which is crime went down last week compared to the week prior to that. But whether there has been some significant change or massive shift since the increase of federal officers and the deployment of the National Guard, that remains unclear. So take a look at this chart. This is from D.C. Police crime data that we analyzed for the course of summer 2025. And what you can see is, yes, crime did go down this past week, but crime has also been going down for 3 consecutive weeks, and it is still higher than it was in other weeks over the summer, especially that dip you see there. That was about late June and early July. In total, there were 1,010 crimes reported last week. That's just about the summer weekly average of 996. Now, the federal presence is still being seen across the district, though. We saw it last night on Benning Road, where there was a traffic checkpoint with D.C. police and federal agents. But yesterday, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser raised her concerns with the federal government's plan, wondering whether the crackdown is more about immigration or violent crime.
The focus should be on violent crime, and that's what has been promoted, that we're focusing on violent criminals and violent offenders and violence. And nobody is against focusing on driving down any level of violence. And so if this is really about immigration enforcement, I think the administration should make that plain.
And the other part of the crackdown is on the National Guard side, and the D.C. National Guard should be getting some reinforcement soon, as 2 more states led by Republican governors, this time Louisiana and Mississippi, say they will be willing to send their National Guard members here to the district.
On the point of the National Guard, Max, yesterday you told us about some of the criticism that was out there about where these National Guard members have been stationed, being in places where crime isn't exactly that high, like Union Station, the National Mall. And now it seems like that may be changing. Where are these folks going to be?
Yeah, Corey, we could see some changes where National Guards are stationed. The National Guard spokesperson telling us that you could see them at metro stations. They started patrols at 10 different stations, including some downtown, including Smithsonian, L'Enfant Plaza, Gallery Place, Metro Center. So those are all places where you could see National Guard, not just along the National Mall or Union Station, as we have seen for the first week.
All righty, Max Marcella, thanks so much. We'll talk to you in a little while.